this week, this week, our country begins the work to elect the leader of the highest office in our land. In preparing for who we will vote for, we've heard several different types of dialogue on who's the better candidate. We've heard discussions on economic policy. We've heard discussions on foreign policy. We've heard discussions on the immigration stance. But who is talking about the people? I am Dawn Marie Morris. I am the Chief Training Officer with the World Class Training Institute, and I am also the author of Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership. Just on the other side of this camera stands the American flag that I just glanced over at, and that flag is representative of all of the ideals that make up the United States of America. We have 2 nominees. We have our Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, and we have our Republican nominee, Donald J. Trump. And then there are also independents who are running for the highest office in the land. In my conversation with Dr. Cornelius Hill, he and I unpack some of the behaviors or the languages that are outlined in Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership, as we talk about the thing that we don't hear talked about often, if at all. I can say I haven't heard it talked about at all, which is the people policy. How are our leaders going to handle people? Even though, yes, they're like on the Tennessee ticket, there are more than Donald J. Trump and Kamala Harris running. We are going to deal with the top 2 candidates, who are Kamala Harris and Donald J. Trump. And we are going to talk through 3 of the languages that are outlined in my book, Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership. And I ask you, as you are listening to what we're talking about, for you to answer the questions for yourselves, and then pick up the book, Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership, at worldclasstraining.net/agape, and read through the 3 languages that we talk about, as well as the other 4. And also, you'll get to learn about my intentional leadership model, which helps you to understand the individual contributor mindset versus the intentional leadership mindset. And again, it's about mindset. It's not necessarily about position. But since we're talking about position, who's going to take the highest position in this land? I want you to also consider the mindsets. This is not an endorsement of either candidate, but rather a comparative analysis that we want you to take into the voting booth with you when you make the decision, beginning this week in Tennessee and a lot of other places throughout the country, and of course, Election Day, which is November the 5th. This is an important time for our country. In either case, we're going to have history being made, or close to history being made, because in the case of former President Donald Trump, only one other person in our history has lost an election and then won again, and that was Grover Cleveland in 1892. So either way, a lot is going to be on the table in the next 30 days, and I want you all to be full with all of the information possible to make the best decision. So again, we've heard about foreign policy, we've heard about economic policy, we've heard about immigration policy, we've heard about policy on abortion. What is the policy about how these leaders of our land are going to handle people? So listen in, make the decision for yourselves, and I'm going to wrap up a little bit on the other side, all right? Enjoy and pick up the book, Unpacking AGAPE, 7 Languages of Intentional Leadership at worldclasstraining.net/agape.
Y'all to make sure that you go to her website. Go to the website, World Class Training.
Yes, .net.
World Class Training.
.net.
All right.
Yes.
And you will get, and also Apple Podcasts to find the.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Apple Podcasts is where you can find this show, as well as on YouTube. So please like and subscribe to YouTube, The Leaders Lounge on YouTube. Yes. So yeah, Pastor Hill, I'm so glad to be here. It's been a couple.
When you
weeks.
miss two misses for you is like 60 days.
It's like a whole half a year. It's almost like
it's like a whole half
but
a year.
I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for allowing me to grace your stage again.
Thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
We're almost at this pivotal historical making event in America.
We are. Yes, we are.
Historical for two reasons.
Yes.
We could have our first president who's female.
We could have our first president who is female.
Who has Jamaican descent.
That's absolutely.
That's two facts.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And then we could have another man that has once resided in the Oval Office go back in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I had to make sure that I fact checked that so that we would be telling the truth, because I thought he would be the first one. But yes, if Mr. Trump gets in, he will be the second person in U.S. history to have lost an election and then won again. The first being Grover Cleveland in 1892. So either way, history is at stake in less than 30 days. Yes, it is. Yes. Mm-hmm. And with that, you and I, we always focus on this thing called leadership.
Why not?
Why not? Yes. Oh, are you going? He's waving with my book. So yes, I thought that it would be good for us to kind of do a little tale of the tape, a fun way, to talk about the leadership acumen of the two people who are vying for the top spot in these United States, using some of the principles of Unpacking AGAPE.
The leadership acumen.
Yes,
of
the
leadership
candidates. Exactly.
One is a man. I don't know about how much act we have with the man. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm just saying. But you talk about the leadership acumen.
The leadership acumen. And
pause.
Yes, sir.
Just pause. Yes. Let me chew on that.
Okay.
Because I need to just chew on the leadership acumen.
Yes.
Okay. I'm through chewing.
You through chewing? Yes, we're through chewing. Yes.
True.
Yes. And of course, without us knowing a whole lot about how they operate within the confines of this thing called the White House, Vice President Harris has been in the White House for quite some time, and she has a history, as she says, serving the people.
Yeah. She's had 4 years.
She's had 4 years. That's right. Absolutely.
She was the assistant.
That's right.
He was the chief.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And before that, she's been, in the public eye. So I thought it would be good, because we hear a lot about the policies. Mm-hmm. What's the person's stand on foreign policy or economic policy? But who's asked the question about
people policy?
People policy. How do you handle the people? Yeah. So, we're going to take a few moments and let's unpack.
Hold on. Back
you want to? Okay,
he
wants to choose some more. We got 30 minutes.
There's a book in my hand.
Yes.
That no leadership library is complete without this book.
That's right.
Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 Languages of Intentional Leadership.
Yes.
Do you know the author?
I do.
Y'all grew up together.
I've known her all my life.
She grew up?
Because she is me. She is I. She is I. She is I, and I am she. Yes.
So, how can we get this marvelous resource?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because you can purchase Unpacking AGAPE. Let's show the people who may be seeing it. Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 Languages of Intentional Leadership, at worldclasstraining.net/agape.
Okay.
And some people are just in love with giving, money back to Amazon. So it is on Amazon as well. And I think Amazon because they're my publisher. But
Okay.
if you come to me and get it, of course, I autograph it. It's nicely packaged, and yes, I have some right in stock for you, so it'll go out immediately. So you can go to worldclasstraining.net/agape, AGAP as in Peter E, or you can, of course, find it on Amazon if you insist.
Lead with grace.
Yes.
Lead with confidence.
Yes.
Lead with style.
Yes.
And most importantly, lead with agape.
Yes. And what is agape, Pastor?
I was about to be facetious and farcical, but since you got me all in this etymological loop now with words, the love of God.
I know you know the answer.
Yeah. I was gonna, I'm thinking though, you're talking about two candidates and their leadership acumen based upon the principles that you have outlined leadership to be.
Yes.
All right. Because you've outlined these principles in the book.
I have.
Okay.
And I do actually want to define what agape is. I think that you did a great job with that. So
I said it really fast.
So and it's also outlined in the book. So there are different types of love. There's
Filio.
That's right, which is what?
Where we get the word Philadelphia from.
That's
brotherly.
Brotherly, friendly, yes.
Eros.
And there's eros, right, which is that
which is between individuals.
The sensual type of love, yes.
Then there is a whole nother word where we get the word Irene from.
Okay, now that one I'm not familiar with. What is that?
Irene, and then just Aunt Irene.
Okay.
Just Aunt Irene.
Okay.
Everybody got an Aunt Irene.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that one.
Right.
I do know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then we have agape, which is the love of God.
Yes.
The love beyond self.
And we also have another one called storge.
Yeah, storge.
Storge. And so that's like, how we love our children. All you have to do is be related. And we love you, and it doesn't matter what you do, I'm still loving you. And agape is that selfless, sacrificial care and concern for others. And when you're talking about taking on the role of being the head of these United States, you have to operate from a place of selfless, sacrificial care and concern for others.
Okay, so
yes,
you've made a statement.
Yes, I have.
We talked previously.
Yes.
About having fun on the show today and not making this a political endorsement.
That's right.
Okay.
We are not endorsing any candidates at all.
Okay.
But we do want to kind of just have a little, because when people go to the polls, they'll have an extra layer of thought.
Surety.
As surety.
Conviction.
Hopefully.
Or hope. We'll use that.
Hopefully. But we're going to add a little seasoning to the entree that is the candidate plate by talking a little bit about this people part and kind of doing a little fun tail of the tape, right? And so in Unpacking AGAPE, there are 7 languages. So can I go there now?
Of course, you can go there.
Okay, good. So let's quickly, because time does fly when you and I are together.
No, we have time. Slow down.
We have time. Ron comes quickly.
Yeah.
So, for those people who are not familiar,
got you.
There are 7 languages, and the reason that I wrote the book and said language is because languages are best demonstrated by behavior. Because of
slow down with that. Languages are best demonstrated by behavior.
That's right.
Give me an illustration. Provide.
I can tell you.
You love me?
I love you.
Okay. But that needs to be demonstrated.
It needs to be demonstrated.
By what?
Action. Okay. So if I'm not behaving in that way, meaning I'm not, as you helped me carry my bag up the stairs today, that's a demonstration of agape love, right? Because you had selfless. You could have just run up the stairs and said, hey, let her get up there any way she wants. Mm-hmm. Or any way she can.
Right.
but you cared enough about me and my well-being to take a step back.
Okay.
Right. So that's a demonstration.
Gotcha.
So yes. So language is best spoken by how we behave.
Okay.
Right.
And this love that you're talking about in your book,
yes,
is a love that behaves.
That behaves.
It's a love that behaves.
Yes, exactly. And so I'll go to one. So
Okay.
one is called carrier of ethics.
The first level.
That's
or the first
second. That's one of the behaviors.
Okay.
Yeah, there are
carrier.
It's called a carrier of ethics. Right. That's one of the languages of being a servant leader. You are someone who is ethical. So when we're thinking about our two candidates, we have Mr. Trump and we have Ms. Harris, right? Or Vice President Harris and Mr. Trump. So thinking about
ethics, do I have to give that much thought?
where are we? Where are we with that one? And I'm going to say something that might surprise you.
I'm listening.
Because you know where I went to school, so I probably
So this is not even that's already jaded.
But I believe in being fair, though, because for me, on both sides.
But you're still
I'm sorry.
You're still a bison.
I'm a bison.
And guess what she is?
But to the extent she is.
So we already kind of.
But I got to tell the truth.
What's the truth?
Because if I'm a leader, I'm a carrier of ethics, right?
Okay.
So on both sides, I'm going to say that. Yes, we do know that one has some felony convictions, right? On the other side,
one convicts felonies. With this little play on words. One has felony convictions, like he's trying to say, and the other one convicts felonies, right? We're just gonna say what it is. Is that not fact? Is that not fact? You can use words. Is that not fact? Huh? Right, Orlando? One has felony convictions and one convicts felons.
Okay. So on language number one, now I will say this though. I have listened to VP Harris and some of her answers, she could do a little better with. Because when the audience,
concerning because you.
Okay, so for instance, yesterday I was watching her 60 Minutes interview and
I'm sold on her.
She was asked about if how they handled immigration initially was a mistake. They made some changes recently, I think within the last year or something, but the way they handled it the first 3 years caused a lot more immigrants than they had wanted to come over the border. And so the person who was interviewing her asked her a direct question, well, was it a mistake the way you all handled it initially? And she did not answer the question yes or no. He had to come back again. And that's not the first time that she's done this. So let's think about this if we're leaders and leading our teams, right? Understanding that we can't always give all of the detail. Our trust and credibility gets challenged when we're not clear.
Our trust and credibility gets challenged when we are not clear.
That is correct. Yes.
I just needed you on that for a minute. I mean, you can continue.
And it's okay. Yes.
But trust and credibility is challenged.
Yep.
When we're not clear.
And I think leaders have to recognize that it's okay to say, based on the information that we had at that time, that was the choice that we made. But we do recognize that we could have made a different decision. So there you're still owning that, hey, we might not have done the best thing in that moment, but don't evade it, because when you evade it, then the waters get murky and you don't want to do that.
Trust and what?
Credibility gets challenged. Yes.
When we are not clear.
Yes.
I like that. Chantal, you like that? Lady, yes. I'm sorry.
Yes.
She likes that.
Yes.
Well, so that's you like that?
Yes. Yes. So on both of them, I'm going to say, I'm not going to, one is definitive, where we know there are felony convictions. The other, I think, could definitely still use some work and being as clear as possible so that the people who are on the fence can lean more into her because they say, well, you know what? I can trust that she's going to be a carrier of ethics.
That's number one.
That's number one.
Carrier of ethics.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to say this. One has a few pending.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the other one has.
The other one has.
The other one.
Yeah.
It's a play on words.
Yeah, the
other.
Like the other one has. Yeah. The other one I think has to make sure that just because the other one, Mr. Trump, it's right there in front of us, right? But the other one is what people deal with when you're working with someone on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
I have to look at you if you're my leader and know that if I ask you a question, you're going to be a carrier of ethics.
All right.
Yes.
Number one, carrier of ethics.
Number two.
What would number two be?
Caretaker of temperance. So this behavior is about when the heat is on, you are someone who operates with, as you know, my favorite term is
EI over everything.
EI over everything.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes. Emotional intelligence.
One has been trained, though, to listen and to litigate. Let's just be honest.
Right.
The other one has been a carrier of their own ethic for many years.
Right.
Not having had a lot of opportunities to listen and litigate, but guess what? I don't have to do that.
Right.
I don't have to do that.
Has not had to do that.
So I don't have to even practice it.
Right. That's right.
So when you get to number two, which is what again?
Caretaker of temperance. One has not had to practice it, but one has had the highest job in the land, right? And so had it, but we also know there were a lot of challenges with the people on his staff. A lot of people terminated. A lot of people who are kind of defecting even from the party. Now we don't know that all of this is because of his lack of or demonstrated lack, because we don't know if he has it or not.
Right.
But there have been some real challenges with how he responds, even with him, making the blatant statement about the dogs and cats being eaten. That is
in the countries where people come from.
That's not socially regulating yourself. Exactly. Right. Yeah. You have to, as a leader, make sure that you do that. I will say that I think that Vice President Harris does a good job on this one.
Are you endorsing?
I'm not endorsing. I'm observing. But as a leadership expert, I do watch her behavior, and I watch how even when some of her interviewers come and they may try to really challenge her or try to get her off of her square, so to speak. Okay. I think she does a good job of resetting and being able to lean back into the moment. I have not really seen her. I saw her get a little uncomfortable a couple of times.
Which part of it?
I saw her get a little uncomfortable with 60 Minutes because I think he actually really challenged her at a level that some of the people have not. It'd be a good interview to go watch if you have not. Did you watch that one yet?
I watched some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Sunday night was full.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on YouTube. I saw it on
Get it in bits and pieces.
Okay.
So
yes.
Number one, you're a carrier of ethics.
Exactly.
Number two,
caretaker of temperance.
You use the term. Watch my time. And we have to finish this at another time.
Yeah.
Socially regulating.
That's right.
Unpack that a little bit.
So when you socially regulate,
please unpack that.
It first has to come from a place of being socially aware. So you temperature check, which means you think about what is the environment that I'm in currently? To whom am I speaking? What does my audience look like? And then what level of empathy can I bring to this moment? And then the social regulation comes into play when it's the demonstration of how you take the elements of social awareness and then make the right decisions about what you communicate, when you communicate it, and to whom you communicate. So that's why I said that when you think about the social regulation piece, there have been some challenges that I have witnessed from Mr. Trump related to that.
So you mentioned, and remember, we're not endorsing.
No.
Even though there's some shared experiences.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all shared similar addressees.
Exactly. This is true. Right.
Okay. You said you saw her get a little off her square.
Right. Exactly.
But her skills to self-regulate.
Right.
I mean, that's being who she has been all of her life professionally.
Right.
Comes with that.
Yes, that's true.
She's had lots and lots of practice.
She's had lots of practice.
Just listen and get thrown off.
Right.
Get back on and present another case.
Exactly.
And then keep presenting.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But that's a key skill. And as we're thinking about who's going to lead this country, and this person is going to go to other countries and have other conversations, that person is going to need to have a high level of emotional intelligence. When you're talking to
how do they get that without coming to your class? So I'm inviting both candidates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pause.
Why not?
Because I've seen school days, and both of those persons, whatever county come from.
Yeah.
Either or.
Yes. Yes.
Needs to understand EI over everything, and school days happen on the 26th of September.
Yeah. Yes. 27th, I think.
27th, and this next
second,
one.
And then there's one more.
October
on the
4th.
9th. 2nd and 9th.
2nd.
Tomorrow.
And then the last one will be
tomorrow.
And that will take place where?
It's registration is closed, so we don't even.
What?
Yeah, no, that's
no.
Yeah, that's but there are always opportunities. To your point, hey, when they get their teams, maybe they do want to have a whole class. I am open to that. Definitely open to that. Yeah,
whoever
they are. Yes.
And then we can make history again.
That's
How
true.
about let's keep making history.
Let's make history.
Whoever gets in, let's make history.
That's right. Yeah,
because the whole team needs to go through.
Yes.
The art of public speaking.
Yes, that's
because
true.
You said something about what is challenge? Clarity. When we're not clear.
Trust and credibility.
Trust and credibility are challenged when we're not clear.
That's it. You're a great learner. I love that.
I have to listen.
Yes, he is a great listener. As we wrap up, though, I want to make sure that we
I like that, Rob. Trust.
We're gonna hit one more before we wrap up.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the last one, and
skipping to number 7.
No, I'm just taking 3
okay.
Because there's 7, but we have, we're strapped for time. You all can read about all 7 of them at Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership.
The 7 languages
of intentional leadership. Yeah.
And how can we get the book again? Because we need to keep looping.
worldclasstraining.net/agape, AGAPE as in Peter E.
Yes. Worldclasstraining.net.
Yes. And if you want any leadership professional development training programs, you can fill out a form right there on the first page of the website, worldclasstraining.net. Just send me your information. We'll set up time to meet. And I would love to talk to you about doing this. So I'm going to go to, which is language number 7, a steward of the ship, right? So a steward of the ship speaks to how steward, STEWARD, of the ship, right? Exactly. Which means that you are someone who is an overseer of the body of work. So you're a good caretaker of the financials. You're a good taker of the promotion. You're a good caretaker of the people, overseer. How well are you handling the business of the business? So that's being a good steward of the ship.
Ask that question slowly. How well?
Yes.
Are you handling?
Yes.
the business.
Yes.
Of the business.
Of the business. That's correct. Yes. Yes.
Talks like that.
And if we were
how well
are
you handling the business of the business?
Yes.
Well, separate the two for me real fast in your own estimation.
So when we say the business of the business, there is the people side. How am I taking care? How am I handling you? Right? When I say the business of the business, how are you? For instance, they talk about Kamala's plan. Now I'm getting a little bit kind of into policy too. Her economic plan, and how is that going to be paid for by
us?
Us, exactly.
It's going to be paid for
when we're talking about former President Trump and his plan, or he said he has a vision of a plan or something like that. He has a concept of a plan. Right, exactly. Right. And so when you're thinking about that, as we are making our decision, we have to say, well, who has, and I don't know really what the answer to that question is. I haven't really, I think she has some good ideas. I think that, when you're talking about, as the gentleman on 60 Minutes said, who's going to pay for it? How is Congress going to actually approve this? And then I'm thinking about, you want to do something for, as a business owner, for people who are brand new in business. I've been in business 5 years. I could use a little financial lift. What are we doing for people like that, And so I don't know who wins the tail of the tape there. What are your thoughts on that?
My mentor is shaking her head.
She says,
oh, I thought so. I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. First of all, I'm thinking about the business of the business.
Right.
According to fact checking.
Right.
And history.
Right.
Trump Towers is a business.
Yep.
And all the other businesses. Mm-hmm. So he has had several opportunities to become better at business.
Right. Exactly.
I just said better. I'm not saying he has been better at business.
Right.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
He's had the opportunity to become better at business.
That's right. Yeah.
But then you talk about the business of the business. You have the policy and you have the people.
Right.
That's a conversation we'll have on the next podcast.
Yeah, I think we have
to unpack that.
I think it's something to really think about. I mean, some people who are really advocates of Mr. Trump, it's because of that business side and because they think that he really did a great job of managing the financial piece when during COVID, and a lot of people are still happy because he got us 2 checks, so I don't that was really through Congress, but people say they think about. So let's I'm glad we got to talk about all of this stuff, and it's a lot to unpack, but I wanted to just kind of run through a few things that we should think about. Thank you, Pastor Hill, because I know we're
at time. So again, how do we find your services?
Worldclasstraining.net.
Worldclasstraining.net.
Yes.
Hey, y'all, until next week, we will see you. Thank you for tuning in to the Leaders Lounge and the Yolanda and Cornelius Show.
Thank you.
What'd you think? I hope you enjoyed that segment. I hope that it was not only for you thought-provoking, but also armed you with some tools and some ideas that you can use as you are making your final decision for who is going to be the leader of the highest office in our country. It's an important decision. And of course, we want to be concerned about economic policy, foreign policy, immigration policy. All of these matter. And at the foundation of all of those is people. So, pick up Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership, and walk through the other 4 languages for yourselves and do that critical analysis, that comparative analysis for yourselves for each of the candidates, and then make the determination for who you think is the best person for our country, because ultimately leadership is about how you are motivating, inspiring, strategizing, setting the vision for, executing, and handling people. It's an important conversation. I'm so glad. Excuse the motorcycle on the other side. I'm so glad I was able to have this conversation ahead of the election. Again, in Tennessee, early voting is starting this week. Wherever it's starting, it may be starting this week in your area of the world as well. But whenever you just go to the polls, take the thought process of Unpacking AGAPE, the 7 languages of intentional leadership, with you, because ultimately, again, it's about how you handle people, and AGAPE is about the sacrificial, selfless love, care, and concern for others, and that is absolutely what you want in the person who is going to lead these United States. So thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for joining, and always remember, at the World Class Training Institute and in the Leaders Lounge, when you are better, we are absolutely better. Take care.